Have you ever followed your intuition and then when you did thought, this didn't work out the way I thought? What the heck went wrong? Well, let's talk about it inside this episode. Welcome to Spiritual and Ambitious. I'm your host, Whitney McNeill. I'm a certified medium and spiritual teacher, and I help spiritual and ambitious souls just like you live your life purpose through your career and attract abundance by connecting into your intuition and spirit guides. Let's get spiritual and ambitious. I'm recording this episode at 11:11. If you love number patterns, then you know all about it. I actually talked about that in episode 22, with getting signs from spirit. So I know that this episode has a message for you in it. I'm sure you've been in a place where you felt like you followed your intuition, but now you're thinking it was wrong. Well, the first thing that normally happens when we feel like we followed our intuition but didn't get any results from it is we question ourselves. We go, what did I do wrong? Well, I think that is a good and a not so good thing. When you question yourself, it can be making sure that you, in fact, are getting the right messages and that you're doing everything right. I think that that's good that you're looking at, is there something that I missed? We can always reevaluate and reassess with what's going on. But if you're someone that thinks, oh my gosh, I'm really hard on myself now because I suck or I didn't do it right, then that actually can be not so good. Now, if you did make a mistake, well, it's not really a mistake if you learn from it. So that's why I think the reassessment, reevaluation process is good. But if we're kind of beating ourselves up over something, that's not helpful, right? We want to make sure that we're moving forward. But when you're not following your intuition, it's most of the time a feeling that you're not. Like it's ooh, this doesn't feel good to me, or my body just can't say yes to this opportunity, or no, I heard no, or I saw like no, I saw like it was a no. So really, if I'm honest, you probably were following your intuition most of the time. You would have gotten a real big signal that it was not right for you if you weren't. So for instance, in my first marriage, I had all the signals, do not do this. This is not a good option. And did I do it? I did. I did do it. And I did learn things from that. But I knew that my spirit guides were like, don't do it. So that's what I'm talking about. But there's other times too, when you truly make a decision and you feel very aligned to it. You feel like this is what I needed to do in this moment. And when you do, and it doesn't really go the way you thought it was going to go, then that's when we start going, I must have messed up and I didn't really understand it. Not so much the case. There's a couple reasons why the things that you thought were going to happen didn't work out. Well, one reason can be because your spirit guides are guiding you to this opportunity for a reason that's not what you think. So removing expectation. This happens a lot with business. So let's say that you feel inspired to create a certain offer, or you want to launch a product or a course a certain way. And you just feel really inspired, but it doesn't really give you the income that you thought was going to come from it. Or it doesn't really go over the way you wanted it to. Well, one reason could be that you were supposed to launch this product or this service, and instead of it reaching the masses like you had hoped, it reaches people that you needed to help, and those people end up being super impactful for you or refer you to a zillion other people. It could also be that you need to actually go through with it and offer your service or do the thing, whatever it is, because you needed to experience it. You needed to actually see if you liked it or not. Especially if you have the channeler intuitive language, you have to experience things from your body. So sometimes we're like, but why couldn't I just known ahead of time? Well, most likely you probably did on some level, if this is the case, but you actually had to go through and do it to integrate it into your being and knowing so that you don't have that second guessing. So sometimes your spirit guides will say, hey, this isn't going to be harmful for you, and this isn't going to be in any way bad. And in fact, this can be still beneficial, but we need you to actually go through it so that you understand and you don't second guess and that you just know. And then finally, it may not work out because it's like a test. It's basically maybe you've been asking spirit for something over and over. You feel really inspired to do something. And it's this test of energy. Are you actually going to go through the actions and do it? And if so, we're going to work on creating bigger and better opportunities for you. So it's not so much about the thing. It's not so much about the result of this thing. It's more of a, hey, are you interested in this? Yeah? Cool. You tried to do it? Awesome. Now we're going to come up with a bigger and better opportunity. I think I've shared this example before, but I wanted to do a speaking gig. I didn't get the gig, but I applied for it. And so my spirit guides thought, all right, you're really ready for this. And then out of the blue, air quotes, we know it was from my spirit guides, I had an opportunity to speak on stage to entrepreneurs at my mentors conference. So that's an example of, hey, we were just preparing and making sure. So when we come back after this really quick break, I'm going to talk about what you can do if you feel like your intuition was wrong. If you're a spiritual and ambitious soul who wants to live your life purpose through your career and is looking for a way to stay aligned to your intuition, your spirit guides, your life purpose, and your manifesting abilities for abundance, then I want you to listen in. I would love to invite you to apply for my Aligned Spiritual Mentorship Program. Aligned is for the committed, spiritual, and ambitious soul who wants to elevate their intuition, their connection to their guides, and truly make a change in this world by living their purpose, all while attracting more abundance. The members inside of this mentorship are ready to go to their next level, and they know that they have to be consistent in receiving support and honing their intuitive abilities. If you're looking for mentorship, coaching, and tools to stay aligned on a consistent basis, I'd love for you to apply. Each month, I get to channel messages, work with members inside of my hot seat coaching sessions to help them move past their blocks, answer their questions, and we have a spirit surprise. We've had guest experts about all different spiritual topics with live sessions, workshops with me, training, and even surprise readings. I like to say that Aligned is like a spiritual buffet. We give you all these tools and resources, and you get to consume what you're spiritually hungry for. One of my favorite components of Aligned is the support. When you're in a virtual room with other people who are seriously committed to their path and their purpose, it changes the game. Not only does it help you elevate your vibration, but we can collectively manifest together. You can learn more and apply at messengerofspirit.com/aligned. Hey there. Thanks so much for listening. If you're really wanting to align more of your intuition and your purpose, your business, I hope that you check out my Aligned Spiritual Mentorship. You can learn more over at messengerofspirit.com/aligned. All right, so I'm going to give you some troubleshooting tips. One, if you feel like your intuition was wrong, I want you to ask yourself, why? You can kind of backtrack here and say, well, what was wrong about it? And that will give you a lot of insight to help you understand really what was going on. Is it because you didn't like the results you got? Is that when you felt like your intuition was wrong? When the outcome came around, you're like, what did I do wrong? Was it because you feel like you didn't get any message at all? Or was it because you knew you were doing the wrong thing when you did it? So one, if you feel like you're doing the wrong thing when you did it, then you know what you did. Next time, you're going to listen. That's really easy. Easy peasy, right? Two, if you feel like you didn't get a message, then I'm going to encourage you to really get acquainted with your intuition and develop your intuition. That's going to be really important. So many people put it off or they don't get really serious about it and they just think that they can kind of piece free stuff together and get a really good training. I'm like, no, like, are you going to get serious about it? So I, of course, encourage you to get serious about it, invest in a course or do a consistent exercises. Just make sure that you're putting it as a priority. You know, I've got resources for that. Of course, we link to it in the show notes. But sometimes we blame it on our spirit guides. We're like, they just must be sitting around doing nothing over there. Well, let's talk about that. If you're someone that is actively doing intuitive exercises, you're doing spirit circles. Shout out to my students who know what spirit circles are. Basically, it's this exercise that I give you inside of my program for intuitive languages, where you're working with your spirit chemist to increase your sensitivity. If you're doing everything that you possibly can to increase your intuition and you're not feeling like you're getting the results, there are a couple things. One, are you detaching from the outcome as far as your intuition goes? Are you clearing your mind? Are you allowing yourself to just receive? A lot of times we go out for the message, like, I'm going to go find it because I'm spiritual and ambitious, and I will go to the thing. When in fact, we don't need to be going anywhere. We just need to be receiving. The other thing, allowing ourselves to understand that process is going to be important, but also your spirit guides. Our spirit guides are there. They're there to help us. When we ask for business spirit guides to help us with something, if we feel like we're not really getting a whole lot there, then we can ask for new guides. Now, your personal guides and teachers, your guide, your teacher, your protector, and actually your chemist, generally, they pretty much stay the same. But you can ask for other spirit guides if you feel like you're not really getting a lot of help there. So really talk to your guides and ask them. Most of the time, though, they're there. They're giving you messages. It's just allowing yourself to receive. And that is a process in itself. We are taught to go and do the things when we just need to relax and receive. So consistency is important. So yes, you can kind of troubleshoot. Am I clearing my mind? Am I being consistent? Am I putting intuition as a priority? Have I committed to actually learning how to really 100% understand my intuitive language, or am I just kind of interested and curious, but not so serious about it? And if all those things are true, like you've done all these things, then you could say, okay, maybe I need to ask for a different guide. Now, I really don't suggest asking for a new guide all the time. It's just if you really feel like you're doing all the things and you have been getting intuitive messages before, that's the deal. Now, let's say that you're asking for information. What should I do? Well, your spirit guides aren't necessarily going to tell you what to do, but ask better questions. So that's another thing you can do to troubleshoot. Ask better questions. Hey, spirit guides, if I do this offer, can you tell me what the energy around XYZ would be? Cool, thanks. Okay, if I do this option, what's the energy around XYZ? So you'll get that information, right? And then you make your decision based on that. But what do you do if you feel like, I followed everything, Whitney, I got the answer and it sucked? Well, I have been there. I'm raising my hand. Our ego will think it wants a certain thing. Our ego will think it has to look like this in order for it to be successful. It has to be like this in order for it to be successful. So understanding of letting go of expectation is going to be really key, because energetically it was still successful. Did you feel aligned to it? I have definitely had this before, where we've had launches where I have followed every single feeling and knowing of what I wanted. But what's interesting is I kind of knew ahead of time I wasn't going to get the outcome I desired, but I still felt like I should do it. And I kept having this feeling like I'm still supposed to do it. And sometimes you're not able to see the impact that you make in people's lives right then and there. So one, I feel like in those instances, I was able to help lots of people, like tons of people, hundreds of people, thousands of people, actually. I put my energy out there, and then I started to be able to be connected with other people because I was in their energy field. So I was connected now with new people new opportunities, and so forth and so on. And sometimes I'm going to be honest, you're not going to see the connection until later, even years later. So what do you do about that? Well, one, know that whatever you've done is not a mistake. It's for a reason. Whether that reason is you're not going to know right now, but you know that there's something good, or you had to go through with this so that you can pivot into something else. We needed you to really have like a in your face kind of examples so that you could actually stop being so stubborn and do the thing that we've been telling you to do for a while. That can be it too. But also you can talk to your spirit guides and get a lot more specific too. Hey, I'm going to do XYZ. This is my desire. What can we do to achieve that? Now, if it's not in alignment, they're not going to be giving you help with it. If it is in alignment and it's from your heart and you just really can feel that you want to help and impact the world, and whatever your inspiration is coming, like, yes, I want to do this, your spirit guides can help. So for the business owner out there, if you have a specific income desire and an income goal, one of the things that's helped me is really communicating with my guides and saying, I would love to help XYZ amount of people inside of my program or more. You can just surprise and delight me instead of the numbers. Sometimes we focus and we say, I want this number a month versus what if we just shifted that and said, I'm really excited to help this amount of people in my program this month or more. That can start shifting your energy and it will become more vibrant when you're connected to your purpose of, ooh, this feels really good. This feels really vibrant. It has an abundance vibration that sends the frequency out to the universe versus the number. The number can come from your ego and the number can come from this place of scarcity too. Like, I got to pay my bills. Oh my God. So let's focus on the mission. It's going to be really important. All right. This was a quick episode, but I'm so happy that we're able to connect. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode. I hope that you participate in our podcast review giveaway, and you can check out Aligned. We'll link to it in the show notes. All right, until next week, here's to staying spiritual and ambitious. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. And if you loved it, would you please share it with a friend? I would also love your review and a reminder to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find me at messengerofspirit.com, and you can take the 4 Intuitive Languages quiz and find show notes there too. If you want to connect on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you can find me at Messenger of Spirit. If you want to continue the conversation, join my free Facebook group at messengerofspirit.com/group. I'll meet you right here next week. Here's to staying spiritual and ambitious.
This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM. Women's voices amplified.